G'day, Steve here, Woodworking Masterclass. Welcome to the workshop. Got a few projects I've got and I thought I'd show you from where to go. This pile of stuff I've got here is blackwood, Queensland blackwood or Queensland wattle, Sally wattle. As you see it here, it's not very appealing. But what I'm going to do is make a couple of rolling pins, a chopping board, and maybe a little serving platter out of what we've got here. So first things first, I have to rip it to length and then I have to square it and dress it. So let's go over to the table saw and we'll start ripping timber up. First cut I'm going to do is at 75, and that will allow me enough to trim up the edges and shoot them and put it through the thicknesser. So here goes. Dust extractor on, saw on. The next thing to do is see how straight they are. If I look down there, I've got a huge kick in that. If you can see down there, you can see that bend in it. Just to give you an idea, I'll put a straight edge on it and you can see how much of a gap is there. Now with that gap, that means I've got a high spot here and a high spot here. That gap is easily 10 mil or 3/8 of an inch. So in order to get this flat here, I have to take 3/4 of an inch off. This timber's only a little bit thicker than 3/4 of an inch, so I'm going to be wasting a lot of it. But if I cut it in half, because I only want about 450 mil anyway, or 18 inches, and I do that, I've got maybe a millimetre dip. So that means 2 mils got to come off of here, because if it's a millimetre going that way, it means it's a millimetre going this way. So I've got to take a mil off each end to bring it flat, and then I've got to take a mil off the bottom to bring it flat to these edges. So that was the only reason I was going to do them in one hit. Saves me time, saves me effort, but by doing it this way, I'm getting the size that I want, and I'm getting the thickness of the board, or the thickest amount of timber I can get on the board without wastage. So what we'll do is we'll line all these up. I'll go over to the docking saw. I mean, that one's, that's got to be 12 mil. Easily peasily. At least ½ an inch. Okay, so all those can get docked. That one as well. And I think we might as well do the same with these. At this particular time, look, the measurements are a bit arbitrary. It doesn't matter. I know I want 450 mil. So providing I can get close to 450 mil, I'm happy, and I can adjust the build that I'm doing as I go. So here goes. Turn the shop back on. Okie dokie. All that's machined up. It's hard to believe those 3 big bits I had turned into this. I've got 2 little bits over there of scrap, which has got natural edge, and one's got a bit of rot in it. I'll do something else with that later. Now what I've got to do is get it to the right width that I want, that it's been machined, and I've got 1 true edge. Just sort this out. Rolling pins there, chopping boards there. Might do the rolling pins first. Might do those at 70 and these at 75. All right, so I've got this veneer. I'm now going to put in the centre. And if you look at the veneer, there's not that much colour difference between the timber and the veneer. But I'm pretty sure once it gets all glued in and we put some oil on it, there will definitely be a difference. All right, I'm going to glue these up wherever my gluing paper is. This will do. And as I said, I'm using Tight Bond 2. What I do is actually glue both sides. So this does require a lot of glue. You can just get by with just gluing up one side, but it's been my experience you get a much better coverage if you glue both sides. And this PVA, once it's dry, it is food safe, so you've got no dramas about that. You got to be pretty quick with this, because it does set quite nicely, quickly. Line it up best you can on one end. It doesn't matter which end, but see if you can get it lined up quite nicely at one end. And we'll put that in a vise. Put it in this vise, I think. And hold it nice and tight. This I glued together in a block, like that. And I did put some veneer in between it because I thought it'd give it accent and look good. But quite frankly, yeah, so the veneer you can't see it, so I'm going to go on a tangent and do something slightly different.